Hi, welcome to In the Studio on Davis Media Access. I'm your host, Tim Gaffney, and today we are thrilled to have Allison Skinner, the Artistic Director for the Davis Chorale. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I'd love to, thank you so much. I'd love to introduce you more fully and tell our audience that before returning to your hometown of Davis, as I understand, you lived in Philadelphia for a number of years, where you were the artistic director of the Rainbow Chorale of Delaware. You also taught high school music at Germantown Friends School, and you were the assistant conductor of Philadelphia's Choral Art Society. You graduated with honors from the University of California, Santa Cruz, with an emphasis in vocal performance. And you also have a master's of music in choral conducting from Temple University in Philadelphia. And in addition to conducting the chorale here in Davis, you are also the music director of the Sierra Master Chorale in Grass Valley. Well, a very impressive resume, and we are lucky to have you here in Davis as the artistic director of our very own chorale here in town. And I understand the chorale is now, is it 44 years old?
It were founded in 78. So yes, that's good math. Yep, 44.
That that's fantastic. And now I understand that a number of your programs are actually collaborative. Is that right? With you have participate with other groups in Vespers and festivals and holiday and spring concerts. Can you say something about the collaborations and some of the groups you've worked with?
Sure. We try to connect with local other arts organizations to try to bring something different to our concerts and connect with other groups. So we often collaborate with the Davis Children's Chorale, which was founded by the same artistic director, Rachel Kessler, quite a number of years ago. And there's some wonderful literature out there for children's choir and adult chorus. So we combine with them. We've combined with a dance troupe, with handbell choirs, with all other kinds of organizations. And it's one of the things that I find most fun to put together something with a new organization. It brings new energy. We also collaborate with a lot of local instrumentalists who help bring our pieces to life with with different textures. We regularly work with a pianist during rehearsals, but it's really wonderful to bring in strings or other instruments to help the music shine a little bit more. Collaborating is really fun.
That's great, and it's nice to hear that you collaborate sort of across the generations as well. You mentioned the children's chorale, and then I believe you've also done some work with the Davis High School Orchestra. Is that correct?
We have it was quite a number of years ago, but yes, we had some students
Okay.
play with us, which was also really fun. Yeah, classical music is one of those things where if children don't get exposed to it young, it's not going to be part of their world. And I think it has a lot of value, and I don't want it to see it go away. So getting kids involved is a really great way to have them be exposed to the wonder of classical music, which is not really part of our everyday culture, I don't think, unless you seek it out a
Right.
bit.
Well, that's fantastic. And whether it's classical music or any other music, the fact that your mission seems to be not just, performing on your own, and, obviously there's a great deal of value in that, but the fact that you're committed to cultivating that next generation of musicians and music lovers is absolutely wonderful. Now, is it
Yeah, and I
true that
think
you
we're,
also
we're
have a?
really trying to create. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Oh, I think we're really trying to create and be part of an arts community that's happening in Davis. We're sort of in the shadows sometimes of Sacramento or San Francisco or the Bay Area or whatever. And I think there's so much going on in Davis if we can highlight it and make it part of this wonderful town's culture. I think that's what we're really trying to be part of.
No, that's wonderful. Now, in addition to your collaborative work, you also do uh, individual or just your chorale, and do you also have a smaller ensemble within the chorale that does events separately?
We don't have a specific small ensemble, but we often do events in the community, and it wouldn't be with the full choir because, say, not everybody could come, or it's during the workday, and so it's some small group. We have sung every year at the Capitol Rotunda, and that's on a Monday at noon. So folks that are busy at work can't come, so it's always a smaller ensemble. But those events of getting out into the community are really important. I just remembered a collaboration that we have done quite a number of times over the years with UC Davis with their large ensemble, and then also with Camellia Symphony. We've been working with them on a somewhat regular basis. About every other year, we do something with them, and that's really nice because it brings us into Sacramento. Um, and uh, and there's nothing like singing with a full orchestra. It's just such a pleasure for everybody. But we do
Right,
have the
right.
small group that gets out and about.
Uh-huh. Yeah, now you mentioned the Rotunda. I actually watched a couple of those performances online and enjoyed them very much. Is that something that will now be an annual event?
We have done it annually, except for, of course, during COVID, when
Mhm.
all annual things stopped.
Right.
And we'll see about this. It always happens in December. We'll see what's happening COVID wise this holiday season, and
Okay.
hopefully we can get back to it. But we've done it every year up until COVID.
And is that part of a series of concerts? Do a number of different groups come to the Capitol and perform as well?
Yeah, it's all done through, I believe it's like the Park Service or something that does it.
Hmm.
And they have noon concerts through all of December featuring local groups.
Oh,
It's really fabulous. Yeah,
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So now you haven't been with the group all 44 years, I assume.
I have not.
Uh,
No.
yeah. Um, but in the time, how long have you been with the group?
This is my 12th year.
12th year, great. So in those 12 years, what really has been the highlight for you, or the highlights for you, would you say? What really stands out?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Mhm.
Let's see. I think I think one of the things that's so for me, the thing that I love about my job is the daily work. People see the performance, and it is for sure a big deal to have these wonderful performances. But it's the weekly connection with the singers that really brings me joy. And so I think the thing that's would I would say is the highlight is that over the years I've come to the choir has expanded to the point where I think it's a really nice size for singers. It's the right size for a community group in that there's not too much pressure on any one person. There's a big enough section around them that people feel supported, but it's not so large that it gets unwieldy. So we have this really nice size ensemble, and because I've been here long enough with the group, I know everyone, and so I feel like I'm working with this wonderful sort of extended family, and we're working together to create something that we couldn't do alone. And that for me is the great joy of collaborative work, which, we've talked
Mhm.
about collaborations with other organizations, but it is a collaboration every day, our rehearsals. So we've had some fabulous concerts, which I'm very proud of and so thrilled. But for me, the highlight is really just the daily work of it. It's I feel like I have the best job in the world. It's wonderful.
Oh, that's very nice to hear. So we made a brief allusion to COVID there when I first asked you about
Mm.
the rotunda. How have how have things been through COVID? Have you managed to rehearse in any fashion, to do anything during that time, or was it just a complete blackout?
So uh, it could have been a blackout. I mean, we could have just stopped, but I was worried about losing that connection with people. I really wanted
Mhm.
them to not stop thinking about music and not stop seeing each other. So um, uh, we we did stop right away in March, like everyone March, whatever it was, 2020, like everyone did. But we eventually in the fall for our fall 2020, we couldn't meet together yet, but we did meet together weekly on Zoom. And I did a little lecture series, and we sang some pieces that were representative of what I was talking about. And so we sort of created a little year together of learning about music history and doing some singing. I say some singing, it really wasn't singing together. Everyone was muted, so it was very awkward, and there were parts of it that were very imperfect. But I got to see those faces, which kept me going through, what was a very hard time. And so that was a good way of keeping a core group of people together. Not everybody did it, but I had 40 people on Zoom most nights. It was pretty nice. And then this last fall, we came together outside, which seemed like the best balance of safety and still being able to sing. So we actually sang underneath the Farmers Market Pavilion every Monday night with lights on, and I had a mic so people could hear me. And then we have returned now to singing inside in January. And actually, we didn't start singing together until February. Inside because of the Omicron surge, but we're back now inside, and we've been rehearsing at the Davis Community Church, which is a very large sanctuary space. So we feel like it's pretty safe. There's a lot of air in the room, and we're looking forward to a concert in April, our first concert in 2.5 years. It'll be wonderful. Can't wait.
That's right. April 24th, is it, at the Brunel Center at
April
the high school?
24th,
is that correct?
We'll be at the high school at Brunel Hall, 3:00. And we are looking forward to, it will be probably not a full-length program because we've had to modify how long our rehearsals are because of COVID, but it will be sung with great joy.
Okay. And can you give us any indication of the program?
Yes. So we're going to be singing a few movements from Gwyneth Walker's Sing Evermore. I chose the piece because it's all texts, beautiful texts about the power of singing, the power of music. And Gwyneth Walker is an American composer, and I love highlighting contemporary American composers. So she's she's prolific. She has all these wonderful pieces, and I just love this piece. It's 9 movements long. We'll do some number of them, 5, 6, 7 pieces from that, and we'll sing 2 pieces by Marquez Garrett, a young upcoming composer. "Sing Out My Soul," which is a wonderful piece about, again, the power of singing and what it does for us. And we'll sing a piece by Brahms, Beethoven, so there'll be a few tried and true kind of classical folks in there too. But it's an eclectic program, mostly highlighting the power of singing because it is something that we have all missed so much individually, and I think audiences have missed it too. So that's why that's the program and the focus.
Right. Well, and that also leads me to ask you about anybody who might be interested in joining the chorale. I understand that you continue to hold auditions for the group.
We do. Not surprisingly, our numbers are down from where we were at the beginning of COVID. We were about 85, and we're now about 45. So we've lost quite a number of singers. I'm hoping a lot of those folks will return. They didn't disappear. They're just probably staying away until things become more normal. I'm not sure that's a word we get to use anymore, but we are looking for new singers always, especially folks that are willing to go with the flow because things seem to be still ever changing with COVID. And it's just an email to me, and I set up a time for an audition. It's a great group, and I encourage anyone that loves to sing to come have an audition and see if it's a good fit.
Great. And they can find that email address on your website, I assume, which is, I believe, now being displayed at the bottom of the screen.
Find all the information you need.
That's fantastic. Well, in the remaining time we have left, I wanted to ask you about an exciting event that is coming up, or maybe it's events plural, Of course, any group, any arts group needs revenue, needs funding to support itself and support the wonderful work it does for the community. And I understand you have a couple of auctions coming up in this year. Can you tell me anything about those and something we might look
Sure.
forward to with those?
Yeah, so we actually have really three fundraisers this year that are coming up. The first one is on the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd. And it's an auction that's going to highlight art created by singers in the group and experiences. There will be an in-person part to it where you can come and look at some of the items on April 2nd at 10:30 in the morning, and that will be at the outdoor area of Davis Community Church at the corner of D Streets and I guess it's 4th there. And that address might be wrong. It's at Davis Community Church. I'm not sure which corner it's on. Anyway, there's this outdoor part where you can come see, and then the auction itself is online. And then we're gearing up for Big Day of Giving also, which is on May 6th, which anyone that tracks what nonprofits are doing knows about Big Day of Giving. We've done it quite a number of years now, and it's been a very large source of revenue for us, and we're grateful to everyone that donates on that day. You'll be hearing more from us if you're on any kind of web listserv or email list. And then we're hoping to do a larger auction in the fall associated with our annual citrus sale, which we have done for many years, probably 40 years. We've sold citrus to the community, and we're hoping to pair it with a larger auction. So we are always looking for ways to increase our revenue, and we're dependent on donations largely for our revenue, and we're very appreciative of our donors and what they do for us to make music in our community possible.
Right. And this helps you purchase music. It helps you produce the events. I imagine. What
Yep,
other sorts of things does
my
this help?
salary. It pays our accompanist's salary.
Mhm.
Yep. So and music and rehearsal space, right? So we rent a space
Mm.
to perform. I'm sorry, to rehearse every week. And we also have all the other stuff that people need, insurance and storage space for risers and all of these things. So we have lots of little expenses that add up, and then a couple big
Yeah.
ones. So
Yeah.
so it all goes in the same pool and helps keep all of the parts going. I should say we also hire, when you say put on shows, we also hire instrumentalists, and we try to pay
Okay.
those folks a fair wage so
Okay.
that they can prep and do what they need to do.
Excellent. Well, it is all money very well spent. Allison, I really want to thank you for joining us this morning. This has been a pleasure, and it's so exciting to hear about what the chorale is doing, to hear that vocal arts are alive and well in Davis and coming back with a roar here, hopefully coming out of COVID entirely. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all for listening to us here on in the studio. Again, I'm Tim Gaffney, and you've been listening to my interview here with Allison Skinner, the artistic director of the Davis Chorale.